News. The Nyeri National Museum is rich in history related to the Mau Mau War veterans who took part in the fight for freedom of Kenya. The museum started in 1925 as a native court handling criminal and civil cases in the community before the establishment of the Nyeri Law Courts later in 1961. Clement Masombo visited the museum and brings us this feature.
Nyeri County is one of the counties with a rich history related to fight for freedom. Majority of generals in the colonial fight for independence hailed from Nyeri, with Dedan Kimathi and General Stanley Mathenge leading the front. Within Rorengo area in Nyeri County, therein lies the Nyeri National Museum. The museum was constructed in 1924 by the colonial government and opened in 1925 to serve as a native court that used to handle both civil and criminal cases.
It was a local native court. It was built in the year 1924 and it was opened on 1st July the year 1925. So right now the court is 99 years old. Next year will be 100 years old. The building was gazetted as a national monument in the year 2001.
The matters presented here were handled by a group of elders who were picked from the community and considered to be the elites.
The cases were supposed to be solved by, we had judges who had been appointed by the colonial administration. So the chiefs had the mandate to appoint elders of the court.
Some of the cases heard and determined by this native court involved marital issues, land border disputes, pregnancy cases, and other criminal cases like theft and robbery. Those found guilty were fined by the court or detained if they failed to pay the fine as ordered by the elders.
It was a native court. Going by the word native, it was supposed to cater for cases, both criminal and civil cases that were from the surrounding area.
A number of cases were determined by the native court, but the most outstanding was the case that involved one Kariuki Gikonyo, a man who was accused of making 9 women pregnant at a go. When the case was presented before the elders, he pleaded guilty.
The most interesting case that was here in the history of this court was one by the name Gikonyo. We can't say it was dating, but perhaps he had interacted with about 9 girls, and coincidentally, all of them became pregnant.
The native court now serves as the Nyeri National Museum, and it attracts scholars from various parts of the country, more so those interested in learning about the struggle for independence.
We can't mention Mau Mau without mentioning Nyeri County. It has the history of the Mau Mau and some of the weapons that were used by the Mau Mau and the colonial government during the Mau Mau regime.
Decades ago, David Kariuki Gikonyo was found guilty by this native court that used to handle both civil and criminal matters in the society. Gikonyo was accused of impregnating 9 women at the same time. Well, that is just part of the history of this court that now serves as the Nyeri National Museum. Clement Masombo, KTN News, Nyeri County.
Thank you very much for that feature, Clement, and keep it here for more conversations coming up. Remember that interview with 3 operators in the border sector. We have Ken Onyango, who's the Secretary General of the Border Association. Moses Nderito, who is from the Electric Mobility Association of Kenya, and a border rider, Caroline Ngarariga, who's in the studio downstairs. I'm going to be having a conversation with them shortly with an electric border. Let's talk about the reality of what the president was promising shortly.